Looks like we have to go find where the mic is live and ensure that it is muted. And get my screen shared again. And we should be good to go. Make sure I share the sound.
Hey, BrandMaster Martina, Britt Yelverton here, and I'm speaking directly to my brand new Gen X speaker entrepreneurs. You know you have a powerful message to share, and now you're ready to step onto that stage, but you're stuck. You don't know where to start, how to get booked, or how to turn your speaking into actual income. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. As a Gen X myself, focusing my 2 decades of branding expertise exclusively on helping brand new speakers like you go from stuck and struggling to booked all the way to the bank. As the lead developer for the SpeakerCon 2025 virtual experience, brand strategist for Global Speakers University, and visionary of the Brand U Agency, I know exactly what brand and business systems you need to launch your speaking career. Here's the different approach in this AI intensive market. I don't overcomplicate it. We're going to get your assets in order and build you a speaker brand from the ground up, one that is uniquely you, leverages AI, simplifies automations, positions you as the expert, and attracts the right opportunities to your value, your vision, and your voice. You're not alone, nor watching from the sidelines. You're actually building right alongside other brand new speakers who are also done being stuck. Every week I provide content so you can stop overthinking and start speaking. You'll get behind the scenes access to my methodology, real client case studies, and step-by-step strategies you can implement to launch your speaker brand. Each week we're live for Watch Me Work Wednesdays and Set Up Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring your questions because it's real, it's raw, and it's about helping you get started while navigating life. This truly is a no gatekeeping community and a judgment-free zone. You don't need decades of experience to deserve premium positioning. You just need the right foundation so that your wisdom and your value can stand.
Going on, good people, come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, and post your city and state where you're catching this information from on today. So should you choose to do so, I am currently streaming directly into the Brand U Agency, into the free community, this information on today. And today I am also streaming live in living color here on TikTok like I normally do. So welcome on into the room. Again, if you guys would like Be Coachable, Teachable, Trainable, and post your city or state or region where you guys are joining from, I would greatly appreciate it. Today's topic is my big business mistake and why my old LLC literally did not protect me, and why, if you are a sole member LLC, your LLC is also possibly not protecting you. If you are a sole member, it ain't. But if you are a multi-member, your exposure or your protection is limited. And I want to make sure that I bring that from my perspective. Hey there, Queen. Hey there, Summer. Hey there, Nyoka. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hey there, Robbie. Hey there, Richard. So good to see all of you. If you are catching me for the very first time, I'll get into my introduction in just a moment, but I need for you guys to understand that I am giving all of this information from the perspective of me, myself, what I did, my journey, what has happened to me, what is happening to me, and future prospecting, okay, what is going to happen. So imagine building a business for 2 decades. Yes, 2 entire decades, only to realize the legal structure that you chose actually left you exposed. And let me level that up. The legal structure that I chose that left me unprotected also is the same legal structure that I coached, educated, and trained my clients on. So therefore, it left us all unprotected, right? And the truth of that painful experience revelation is a mistake that many of you may be making right now. All right. And I want to help you avoid 2 decades in the game. I want to see if I am available to help you right now to begin the process of rectifying that situation. Okay. So, as I said, this is a live, transparent, okay, I guess just reckoning with how grief, ignorance, love, and continuing on a pattern that you don't know the full picture or structure of and how it could be hurting you. This is the full, transparent, behind the scenes, pulling back the curtains, as I say, of exactly what this journey has been like, again, for 2 entire decades. And I'm hoping that the information that I choose to share with you on today is very helpful. So that's about 2 minutes of cushion for all of you guys to get the notification that we are live inside of the community and that we are sharing this information for you to share this out, for you to let others know that you are in here getting educated. So should you choose to do so. I'm not asking you to if you don't yet know what we're talking about. So I don't want you sharing anything that's not aligned with you. I don't want you giving information out and about that's not aligned with you. I really want you to take this information in and determine whether or not this is something that you feel others need to know as well. Because me, with 2 decades into this and the biggest big business mistake that I have known thus far, my LLC did not protect me. And I'm going to literally do a deep dive on today and make sure that you understand how yours as a sole member honestly is not protecting you as well. So again, my name is BrandMaster Martina Britt Yelverton. And I'm the visionary behind Family First Designs, a brand new agency, right, where I help Gen X entrepreneurs and speakers to get your assets in order and to go from being new, stuck, or struggling into gaining impact and influence so that you can actually attract your qualified person who needs your value, your vision, and your voice, so you can attract them to you, so you can share your gifts and talents, so that those gifts and talents can make room for you. My agency meets you at the intersect of your idea and your identity, your strategy, and we put a little bit of systems and structure and software onto it so that you can actually get to where it is you endeavor to go, so that you can leave a legacy, or better yet, so that you can live one. And today we're diving into a topic that's incredibly important, I feel, for every entrepreneur out there. So whether you're just starting out or whether you have been in the game for a minute, today we're talking about LLCs, my LLC specifically, and the common misconceptions about the protection that they offer. The number one thing, if you are like me and you are a note taker and you are taking notes and you are jotting things down, that I want you to jot down, and key point number one is you're probably going, well, can we clarify what I believe an LLC should actually do? Yes, and I'm going to also let you know what it does not do for clarity, so that you guys can understand how, again, where you are on the scope, how it affects you, whether or not it even pertains to you. Because I feel, as a brand new or a budding or a stuck or struggling entrepreneur, it affects y'all. It affects y'all. It affects you, okay? So let's start with what is an LLC. An LLC is a limited liability company, all right? A limited liability company, all right? So keep those 3 terms in mind as I go through the process of explaining to you what I have discovered, again, after 2 decades of being in the game, teaching, educating, coaching, training people, and what I now know. Literally, it's been there the whole time. But what I now know about this LLC structure, okay, there is a lot of misinformation that is out there. And believe it or not, the misinformation is because people read with assumptions. They read with assumptions. And I know for those of you who are in the community who are catching this, you're probably used to me doing more of a training style when I'm coaching and teaching and training you guys and giving you the downloads and the checklist and all of that. But today is going to be more of a training / conversation. Those of you who are joining me on TikTok for the first time, please set a spell. Today, again, is going to be a conversation to give you clarity from my perspective, okay? So in all of our understanding, when we hear limited liability company, we're thinking, Ben and Tammy, we're thinking that this is going to limit our liability as a sole member in this company that we've registered. Is that what you guys understood? Is it safe to assume that what I assumed is what we all have assumed? Is that accurate? Did you assume that when you started your company, okay, that you starting that company, okay, did that limit your liability in the company? Did you having that company and that business structure provide some protection for you starting that business? Is that what you understood? Because that's definitely what I understood, okay? It is designed per the, okay, information on the web. It is designed to create a legal separation between your personal assets and your business debts. Is that what you understood? Similar to the layman's way I just explained it, that is like a Google definition. It is designed to create a legal separation between your personal assets, yes, and your business debts or you know, anything that's going hinky in the company. Is that what you guys understood? And you can engage with me here in the chat. That's perfectly fine. It's not going to interrupt the flow, because that is what I understood. It was like having a fence around the business, right? So if something goes wrong inside of the business, then my personal assets and things like my house, my car, well, at the time when I first started, it didn't have a house, but for all of you who may have a house and be going through this, it creates some type of veil between your house, your car, your savings. You're thinking they're all protected, or at least that's what I thought. Woosah with me, right? You did hear me say 2 decades, right? Here's the catch. Especially for sole member LLCs. When you think of a fence, it is probably built strong. You're thinking it looks strong. It's providing some type of structure that keeps us protected from anything outside, right? How many of you, especially if you're thinking about a chain fence, realize that most fences have holes? Okay, many of us set up our LLC and we think we're done because we now have this fence and we continue to operate our business as we always have. However, that's actually where the danger lies. The legal concept of that fence is called a corporate veil. And those holes in that fence, let's look at those as if that is piercing the corporate veil. Because if you don't treat your LLC truly as you should, as a completely separate entity, when it's multi-member, you as the sole member are completely, solely, wholly responsible. You're not protected, right? The courts may ignore the LLC, and in most cases they will, and they will come after what the plaintiff is complaining about, which are your personal assets. Why do I say that? Now, remember again, I am not your business expert. I'm not your tax expert. I'm not your CPA. I am the individual telling you my expert opinion about my experience and my life having an LLC. And the realization I had when I actually looked at the black and white with regards to an LLC. And you're probably wondering, what exactly do you mean by that? Hear me clearly. A 20-year LLC journey, right? And I'm not talking about anything theoretical. I'm not talking about, anything that's beyond me. I'm talking about my personal 20-year journey where I've shared ups, downs, ins, and outs with people. When I first started my LLC, being excited about my LLC, taking the opportunity to get everything set up. And if you see over my shoulder, right back here, you'll see my actual corporate books. They look a lot like this. Corporate books look a lot like the one I set up for my son, his corporate books, other clients. Again, their corporate books. Taking the opportunity to get all of the bells and whistles that come along with being structured properly. Having the seal, let me show you, the seal that comes along with your corporate records, the printable information, teaching people how to go about getting their corporate books, getting their actual LLC seal, right? Getting that information where you take the opportunity to purchase your corporate books, you get your seal, you take, your little stamper and you pop it in, and now you have the availability to, let's see if I can snap this in without snapping my fingers, because trust and believe that's one of the things I continue to do repeatedly, getting myself caught up in this. And of course, I'm doing this live and it wants to act all hinky and crazy on me, but hopefully I can get it in here because I really want you guys to see, what it looks like, what it feels like to go through the purchasing of all of your books, getting your information, getting all of your paperwork, your certifications, getting everything done. And she is not sliding in here for me today. But anyway, here's your corporate seal. This slides in here for some reason. It snaps in place. And then you are available to impress upon your member certificates, your shares, your stocks, things like that that you have inside of your LLC. You're able to create, you're sealing your documents. Like this is a seal, and you're sealing your documents so that they are now embossed. They are legal. You file them, you register them, you do those things to make everything legitimized, not realizing you digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper. You're attaching yourself more and more and more. When I first got started, that's what everyone said for me to do. Go form your LLC. Go buy your corporate books. Make sure you're holding your meeting minutes with, yourself, because you're a sole member. Who else you going to hold your meetings with? Granted, you could have your registered agent step in as a consultant, hold your meetings, take the time, to document the minutes, your banking, anything up, any updates, doing your quarterly updates. As the business grew, most people start to blur the lines. And we're talking about commingling of funds. It can all be a painful process, okay? And what I began to realize was there is a lot to running a business, plain and simple. And yes, you could get into it. You could do it all yourself. You can file all this yourself. But the more you do yourself, again, the more you are attaching yourself to the business that you actually set up in hopes that you were putting a fence or setting a corporate veil or distancing yourself or being protected, not realizing that every single business move, operation, it's all attached to your name. Why do I say that? If anyone would like to be transparent and share, not, on screen or anything, who actually read their EIN paperwork, their LLC paperwork, their tax filings? Because if you did, then you saw your name on everything. So how exactly are you protected from legal, federal, and state pieces of paper and filings that actually have your name printed on them as well. Woosah. Right? Breathe in, breathe out. Right? You don't realize it because you're the one running and working in the business. You're the one that filed everything. You don't realize you are actually attached the entire time. Even when you get to the step, and again, I don't want you guys to go through this. I am painting this picture so that you can see the ebbs and flows of what this looks like. And you're probably like, yeah, I registered. Yes, I put my name on it. I even registered a virtual address. I even have a registered agent. I even set up the minutes. I even held the meetings. I actually set up the operating agreement. But when you set up the operating agreement, you had to sign for it. When you went to open the banking accounts, even if you open them for the LLC, you opened them and probably signed your name. But regardless, let's get specifically to the filing. When you filed the taxes for your LLC business, and again, I'm not a tax expert, okay? Not trying to be a tax expert, but us, the everyday novice person, when we're looking at that paper, we're seeing, hey, this is my tax return, and we're seeing the 1040 in most cases, and we're seeing our names, and we're seeing our information, and then we flip a couple of pages and we end up on the Schedule C or the profit loss, and we see big as day, our business name and the LLC, and whether you chose to list your EIN number there. And we're thinking, yes, this is all the separate documentation. However, if you look at the very second line at the top of that profit and loss, where you're listing your business information, it clearly says sole proprietor. It clearly says it's you. Your name is clearly on it. So when you put your name on it, how are you separate from it? You're not. Okay? And again, I'm not here to say any of this in the way of any type of a tax. I'm telling you what my journey was. 20 years of filing taxes, 20 years of having an LLC, 20 years in business operations, right? Thinking I was separate from my business. And in all of these years, I'm not. I am now, right? Because my business is going through and has gone through and is now legally separated because I've gone through the conversion process. And because I came here on this amazing app. Hey there, DJ Candy's World. I came on this amazing app and I started listening to quality people. And the reason I say quality people, because y'all know it's a lot of riffraff on here, but I started listening to quality people. And one of the quality people said, your LLC is hurting you. And I was like, how? Me and my mindset, oh, I've been separate all this time, and my business is this, that, and the third all this time. And, I'm protected all this time, come to find out. And the reason I say it's in plain sight, when you're actually filling out your tax information, when you're actually filling out the information for your EIN, when you're actually filling out the information for your state registrations, you're connecting yourself directly to your business because you're putting your name on everything. Hello, you're not separate from your business. Now, I asked you guys to remember in the very beginning the first three words I said, and that is we're discussing the limited liability company. Now, Dewayne Williams does an amazing job, far greater than I can, of having you break these three words down. And in his breaking down of these three,
business had a liability. It owed $1,000. If two people own the business and the business owed $1,000, the IRS is saying, I'm going to limit how much each person has to pay because I split the liability amongst the group of people. If you do not have a group of people to split the liability with, I want to take you to Exhibit A, your EIN document. Does it not say your business name LLC with your first name and last name as representing the sole member? If you don't have nobody to split the liability with, who do you think the liability is going to go on? So the idea that you are protected, that's untrue. It's an untrue statement. Now here's where it gets real interesting. You think you are separated from the business, and yet you convinced yourself that that business ain't got nothing to do with you. If something to that happened to that business, they can't come after you. And yet you read your first and last name on this paper. If you gave this paper to anybody that didn't know you, and you tried to convince that person that you ain't got nothing to do with that business, how you gonna convince somebody you ain't got nothing to do with a business but your name is all over the paper? Make it make sense. Think about that for a second. I want you to make that make sense for you. You read your name. You're looking at it. I want you to convince your child and anybody else that they ain't got nothing to do with you. So we see our name, but we hear something else, and we believe what we hear versus what we see.
Words, I will do the best that I can to help you understand from my perspective what I understood. And that's that words have meaning. And the very first word in a limited liability company is what? Limited. Now you're thinking of limited as a positive thing because you're thinking that having this company separate from you limits your second word, liability. Liability, negative, asset, good. Liability, red, asset, green. Liability, no, asset, yes. However you need to understand it. You're thinking, yes, please limit my negative exposure in my company. Now, I'm not even going to break down the word company the way that he breaks it down, because most people, when you ask them what is the definition of the word company, they say a business. Okay, but I'm asking for the legal definition of the word company. And the quick and easy legal definition of the word company is group. More than one, 2, 3, 4, more than one. So again, that accompanies the thought process. If company means group or more than one, how do you have a limited liability company when you're the only member in it? You're one. You're not more than one. You are you, yourself, and you. There's no us. There's no we in the you. Okay? And so when you're thinking about that, all of that is conflict anyway. And the thing I find the most interesting about it is when you go to apply for your EIN, if you actually read the questions properly, you would realize as a sole member limited liability company, you actually don't even qualify to have an EIN.
And what happens in life is we don't take time to slow down and read. What are you talking about, Dewayne? Let me go apply for an EIN number. And I want you to see it right here in black and white. I want you to see it with your own eyes. I'm going to go apply for an EIN number this morning. Everybody thinks because they have an EIN number that they qualify to be a business owner. Most people don't even know what this means. You're applying for an employer identification number. An employer is a person or organization that employs people. An employer is a person or organization that employs people. To employ people is to give them work and pay them for it. Some of us have used an EIN number and we're not paying nobody to do a job, but yet we want to reap the same benefits. How does that work? Because before we applied for the EIN number, we never asked the IRS, do we qualify to have one? Had we asked the IRS, do we qualify to have one, the IRS would have said, you will need an EIN if you answer yes to any of the following questions. You will need an EIN if you answer yes to any of the following questions. Do you have employees? Do you pay people that currently have federal, Social Security, and Medicare taxes taking out their checks? 98% of people can't answer yes to this question. Number 2, do you operate your business as a corporation or partnership? That never said, do you operate an LLC? An employee is someone who has federal, Social Security, and Medicare taxes taking out their checks. If you don't have federal, Social Security, and Medicare taxes taking out your checks, guess what? You're not an employee, you're a contractor. Do you file any of these tax returns? Employment, excise, or alcohol, tobacco, and firearms? Do you withhold taxes on income other than wages paid to a non-resident alien? Do you have a KEO plan? That's a self-employed retirement plan. And is your business involved in a trust, estate, real estate mortgage investment conduit, nonprofit, farmers cooperative, or plan administrator? No. So some of us are using an EIN number. We don't even qualify to have it. Hold, please. But we go get that EIN number anyway, and like anything else, our mind is already made up. We already know we want an LLC.
That in itself is a rabbit hole many of us do not fully grasp the impact of. And so again, many entrepreneurs start with an LLC thinking it's full protection or that it's limiting their liability inside of their company. And it's a misnomer, a misconception, a myth, an untruth. They think that they should do this because they're trying to protect themselves from liabilities that could happen inside of their company, not realizing that they are fully and even more deeply attaching themselves. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I hear something happening on my phone. I greatly appreciate whatever you just did, and I know it's probably you, DJ Candy. Thank you. Not realizing that they are further connecting themselves to their liability within the company. Okay. And so, as I said, it's easy for me to say these things and explain to you. Thank you so much for your daily heart meeting, putting some lotion on, girl. I appreciate you, but that's not your fault. It's because I haven't been live in quite a bit of time, right? Probably not during the time frame in which you were able to connect with me. But again, don't let my 20-year mistake be yours. What you really need to do is, number one, I have a video that's on my YouTube channel that actually talks about whether or not you should continue with your renewals, because we're in the month of March for the state of North Carolina. Our renewals for our LLCs actually happen by April the 15th. I'm not sure about other states because every single state has different due dates, different renewal processes, different registrations, and all of that. But I know specifically for the state of North Carolina, our renewals would be next month. Praise God, I do not have to renew because I'm converted. I'm separated from my business now. I don't have that heartache. I don't have that headache. I don't have that myth walking around with me every day that I am protected inside of my limited liability company, because I'm no longer a limited liability company. I'm converted. I'm a full corporation now. and my corporation stands as its own entity separate from me. So that is one of the solutions that you can actually implement in your business on today. If you are a sole member LLC, number one, understand you are not protected. You are not separate from your business. Clearly, if you go and look at your LLC paperwork, your name and information is on there, and it's public. I'll breathe for some of you all because you don't know that. And it's public. All Secretary of State information, registration is public information. Understand your LLC is not protecting you, especially if you are a sole member inside of that LLC. Number two, you probably have an EIN that you do not qualify to have. And when you received that EIN paperwork from the government, your name is listed directly below your LLC registration as a sole member. How are you protected, and how are you limiting liability, and how are you having a corporate veil or a fence, as I began to talk about, if your name is listed directly on the paperwork? And number three, when you file your taxes, every single year that you're filing your taxes, you're filing them in most cases, 90-something% of the time, on your 1040. So if you provided your business information on your personal taxes as a sole member LLC, again, how are you separate and protected? You're not. Okay, so the first thing that I always tell people is there's more information that is available. There is a masterclass that is inside of my community, and inside of my community, this masterclass, especially for this video here, for the guys that are watching this inside of the community, it's called Pop the Balloon. It's inside of my community, and it is nearly 2 hours worth of training, including the Q&A. He gets a little deep on the end, so if you're going to be offended, just turn it off before it gets to the end, because he really gets passionate about the misconception that people are out here operating their businesses in. And he really, really goes deep in trying to get you guys to understand you're not protected. You're not building a sustainable legacy this way. And you literally are perpetuating the lack of growth in your businesses, because you are the bottleneck, because you are attached to your business. Your business is not separate from you. You are liable. You are not protected. I don't know how many different ways that I need to say that. And the best thing that you can do is come into the community, get some information from an expert who's actually lived through even being sued and showing why he is so passionate about it. I'm just blessed, humbly, gratefully blessed to not have gone through those particular types of situations. However, again, 20 years in the business as an LLC, helping people to understand what I didn't know was misinformation. And so again, if you guys come into the community, I'll get a notification. You'll get a notification. You become a member inside of the community. You're available to watch the masterclass inside of this community. I don't mix any words. I make sure everything that I teach, whether I'm teaching the DIY person or the done for you person, I'm teaching all of them the same. The only difference is you take everything that I teach and go do it yourself. We work together, or you get everything that I teach done for you. Regardless, the masterclass will give you the most information you can possibly receive for free directly from the expert on how to get yourself out of this situation, how to no longer be fakely protected. I don't know a better way to say it, but again, if you are a member inside of our community, you already see the Pop the Balloon Masterclass inside of this community. You're available to come in, get that information, take some good notes. I don't know what I did with my pen. Take some good notes. Learn that information on today. Ask questions. I don't see any questions coming into the group right here, right now, but definitely take the opportunity to ask your questions. And hey, y'all, hey to you guys who are in the community watching this information. Thank you for your time on today. TikTok. Again, I am typically live each Wednesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'm helping the new stuck or struggling Gen X speaker to build their speaker system. That same system can be utilized for different niches, different industries, but it's for the new stuck or struggling entrepreneur who has an idea, who has not yet created an identity for it, who does not have a strategy for how to grow and scale it, and definitely does not have a system to implement automation, AI, and things like that. That is what the entire intersect of what my agency does. If you want to find more out about that, definitely come into the community, get your business assessment, get your brand assessment, get your speaker assessment. All of those are free inside of the community, and know where you are. Know if you are a sole member LLC. Know if you do need to go through a rebrand. Know that if you are an LLC and you come into the community, we are going to coach you through how to move out of that and into conversion, get the conversion done, leave the LLC behind you, move forward in your corporation in the right direction, with the right structure, with the right advice, training, and education, so that you can actually be separate from your business and allow your business to be its own entity, to grow, to scale, to move forward, and to do all that it was created to do. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you guys. Again, this information will be inside of the community. Please definitely drop your comments below this video. I'll be sure to upload this information onto my YT channel, my YouTube channel, for those of you who are not able to catch us here live. Thank you so much for the time that you have spent getting this information, Christina. I hope you have found it to be helpful, and I hope that you have found it to be a benefit. I don't know if you are an LLC currently, or even if you were looking at possibly becoming an LLC. I'm going to say press pause, come into the community, okay? Watch the Pop the Balloon Masterclass, get as much information as you can, and then make an informed decision for how you want to move next on your journey. Thank you again to my community members who are supporting this and who are watching this. I don't see any questions coming in, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the information that I have shared with yos in the community, we're debuting this on the Pop the Balloon channel, so you probably have already accessed that, as well as the other 2 or 3 videos that are there for you. So you probably don't have specific questions about this, but I look forward to your next step questions that you guys have, and catching you on the next community live. To your success to each and every one of you, and I'll catch you on the next live. Thank you so much for your time.